My name is Jessica. I'm 33 years old. My fiance said, "Don't ask about the people I used to know. That part of my life is over." I replied, "Sure." 2 nights later, during a family gathering, he went pale when a woman he didn't expect to ever see again walked in slowly, holding something he instantly recognized as hers. Up until last week, I thought I knew everything I needed to know about the man I was planning to marry. We'd been together for about 18 months, met through friends, hit it off immediately, got engaged after a year. He was 31, worked in graphic design, seemed pretty straightforward about his life. His apartment was filled with his artwork, proof of the creative life he'd built. We talked about our pasts, exes, the usual stuff couples discuss when they're getting serious, or at least I thought we did. About 3 weeks ago, we were having dinner at my apartment. I'd made pasta, nothing fancy, just a regular weeknight meal. The kitchen smelled of garlic and basil, wine glasses half empty on the table. He seemed distracted, kept checking his phone, which wasn't like him. Usually, he'd leave it in his bag during dinner, a rule we'd established early on to keep our time together meaningful. That night was different. I asked if everything was okay. "Yeah, fine, just work stuff." "Anything I can help with?" "No, it's handled." I let it go, but then his phone buzzed again, and I saw his face change just for a second, a look of worry, maybe fear. His hand trembled slightly as he reached for it. He grabbed the phone quickly, read whatever message came through, then put it face down on the table. The atmosphere in the room shifted, became tense. Who was that? Nobody important. Didn't look like nobody. He sighed, setting down his fork with a soft clink. "It's just someone from my past. They've been trying to reach out. Sort of." "It's complicated." "How complicated?" "Don't ask about the people I used to know. That part of my life is over." The way he said it felt final, defensive, like he was closing a door I didn't even know was open. His voice had an edge I'd never heard before. "Sure," I said, "no problem." But it was a problem. Not because I'm jealous or controlling, but because the way he said it felt wrong, like he was hiding something big, something that mattered. The rest of dinner was awkward. Conversation forced and stilted. We went through the motions of eating, but neither of us had much appetite anymore. The next day I couldn't shake the feeling. Kept thinking about his reaction to that text, the look on his face, the way he shut down the conversation so quickly. I tried to focus on work, but my mind kept wandering back to that moment at dinner. My colleagues noticed my distraction during meetings. I made excuses about being tired. I didn't snoop through his phone. That's not who I am. My parents raised me to respect privacy, to trust, until given a reason not to. But I did pay more attention over the next couple of days. I noticed he was more secretive with his phone, took calls in another room, seemed on edge, jumping slightly when I'd walk into a room unexpectedly. The man I knew, always calm and centered, was becoming someone I didn't recognize. I asked him again if everything was okay. He said yes. Said he was just stressed about work, a big client, tight deadlines. I wanted to believe him, needed to believe him, but doubt had planted itself in my mind and was growing roots. Then came the family gathering. My parents were hosting a dinner for my sister's birthday. Nothing huge, just immediate family and a few close friends. My fiancé had met my family before, got along with everyone. My mom adored him, often joking that she was gaining the son she'd always wanted. He seemed excited about it that morning, helped me pick out a gift for my sister, talked about what he'd wear. He chose a blue button-down I'd always loved on him. We got to my parents' house around 6. Standard setup. My mom cooking in the kitchen, filling the house with the smell of her famous lasagna. My dad manning the grill outside, my sister greeting people as they arrived. About 15 people total. Casual, relaxed. The kind of evening that should have been simple and happy. The kind where nothing could possibly go wrong. My fiancé was talking with my mom in the kitchen when I went outside to help my dad with the grill. They were laughing about something, and I remember feeling relieved that he seemed back to normal. We were out there maybe 20 minutes, talking about work and sports and nothing important. The evening air was cool, pleasant. My dad was in a good mood, telling stories about my sister's childhood. Then my dad's phone rang. He stepped away to take it, came back a few minutes later with this weird expression, something between confusion and concern. "That was your uncle," he said. "He's bringing a +1, someone he met recently through work. Hope that's okay." "Yeah, of course." My uncle was my dad's younger brother. Good guy, worked in commercial real estate, always networking. Not unusual for him to bring someone to a family thing. He'd done it before. About 10 minutes later, they arrived. I was still outside when I heard the doorbell. My dad went to answer. I followed him inside, wiping my hands on a napkin. Nothing prepared me for what happened next. My uncle walked in first. Behind him was a woman I'd never seen before. Tall, maybe late 30s, dressed business casual, expensive watch, polished shoes, carrying a small leather portfolio under her arm. Something about her immediately felt wrong. Her smile was too calculated, her eyes too sharp. "Everyone, this is my colleague," my uncle said. "We've been working on a project together." My mom immediately went into hostess mode. "Of course, the more the merrier. Come in." I was standing near the kitchen door, had a clear view of the living room where everyone was gathered. I saw my fiancé turn to look at who'd arrived. Time seemed to slow down. The color drained from his face completely, like he'd seen a ghost. His wine glass slipped slightly in his hand, red wine sloshing dangerously close to the rim. I saw his grip tighten, knuckles going white. The woman saw him too. Her expression didn't change much, but something flickered in her eyes. Recognition, and maybe satisfaction. A predator spotting prey. She walked slowly into the room. Everyone was doing introductions, shaking hands. She made her way around, polite and charming, playing the part of the successful professional perfectly. Then she got to my fiancé. The air in the room seemed to thicken. "I don't think we've met," she said, extending her hand. He didn't take it, just stood there, frozen. I started moving toward them, sensing something deeply wrong. "Actually," she continued, her voice smooth, "I think we have. A few years ago, right?" I don't think so," he said. "I'm pretty sure we have. You might not remember. It was a while ago." She opened the leather portfolio, pulled out a single photograph. "This might help jog your memory." She held it up. From where I was standing, I couldn't see it clearly, but my fiancé could. His hand went to his mouth. A small sound escaped his throat, something between a gasp and a whimper. "Where did you get that?" he asked. "Does it matter?" The room had gone quiet. Conversations died mid-sentence. All eyes turned toward them. I stepped closer. "What's going on?" The woman looked at me, assessing. "You're the fiancé, I assume?" "Yes, who are you?" "Someone who knows your fiancé. Knew him, rather, back when he went by a different name." "What are you talking about?" She handed me the photograph. It was a professional headshot, high quality, the kind used for marketing. The man in it looked like my fiancé, but different. Different hair color, different style. More provocative, heavier makeup. And at the bottom, printed text. "Available for private bookings." My stomach dropped. I looked at my fiancé. "What is this?" "It's not what you think," he said quickly. "What am I supposed to think?" "It was a long time ago, before I met you, before I was who I am now." The woman spoke again, her voice carrying across the silent room. "About 5 years ago, to be exact. You were working under a different name, made quite an impression. Then you disappeared." "How did you find me?" my fiancé whispered. "I didn't, not intentionally. Saw you in the background of a photo your fiancé's uncle posted online." My head was spinning. My fiancé looked at me, tears forming. "Can we talk about this privately?" "No," I said. "I want to hear this." She smiled faintly. "Your fiancé used to work as a high-end escort. Very exclusive clientele. Very expensive. I was one of his clients. We had an arrangement that lasted about 6 months. Then he vanished, took money that was meant as a final payment, and disappeared." "That's not true," my fiancé said, his voice rising. "You know that's not what happened. So you do remember me." "Of course I remember you. You were stalking me. That's why I left." "I was trying to maintain contact with someone I'd paid for services," she replied calmly. "There's a difference." I held up my hand. "Stop, both of you." I looked at my fiancé. My heart was pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. Is what she's saying true about the escort thing? He hesitated, then nodded. "Yes, but not the way she's making it sound." The woman watched us with something like amusement. "I was in a bad place," my fiancé said. "I needed money. I made choices I'm not proud of. But I got out. I started over. That's not who I am anymore." "Why didn't you tell me?" I asked. "Because it's humiliating. Because I was afraid you'd judge me. Because that part of my life is over, and I wanted to leave it there." "You lied to me." "I didn't lie. I just didn't tell you everything." "That's the same thing." My uncle looked mortified. My sister had her hand over her mouth. My mom looked like she might cry. My mom finally spoke. "Maybe everyone should give them some privacy." "No," I said. "I want to hear this. All of it." I turned back to the woman. "You said he took money from you?" $50,000. Advance payment for a 6-month exclusive arrangement. He took the money and disappeared. Never fulfilled the contract. My fiancé laughed bitterly. "Contract? You mean the agreement where I was basically your property? Where you decided what I wore, where I went, who I talked to? You signed paperwork. You agreed to the terms. I was desperate, and you took advantage of that. You were compensated very well. I was trapped. I felt sick. The room was spinning. You took $50,000 from her? I asked. Not exactly, he said quietly. I took $20,000 up front. That was the agreement. She's lying about the 50. 20 is still a lot of money. I used it to disappear, to start over, to get away from people like her. The woman pulled another paper from her portfolio. Here's the signed agreement. $20,000 up front, $30,000 upon completion of 6 months. He took the first payment and vanished. Because you were dangerous, my fiancé shot back. Because you showed up at my apartment unannounced. Because you started making demands that weren't in any agreement. I was well within my rights as a client. You were a stalker. Everyone started talking at once. My dad stepped in, voice firm. That's enough. This is inappropriate for a family gathering. You need to take this somewhere else. The woman looked at me. I'm sorry you had to find out this way, truly, but you deserve to know who you're marrying. Get out, I said. Excuse me? You heard me. Get out of my parents' house. I'm a guest of your uncle. I don't care. Leave. Now. My uncle jumped in. She's right. This was inappropriate. I had no idea. We should go. The woman gathered her portfolio and looked at my fiancé one last time. It was good seeing you again. Take care. There was something threatening in the way she said it. They left. The door closed. The room stayed silent. I looked at my fiancé. We need to talk, but not here. Okay. We went outside and sat in my car. Neither of us spoke for a long time. I'm sorry, he finally said. I should have told you. Yeah, I said. You should have. I was ashamed. That part of my life wasn't me. I was broke. Desperate. Did you really take the money? Yes, $20,000. But the situation wasn't what she described. She tracked you down after 5 years. That's what scares me. I stared straight ahead. Do you still want to marry me? I don't know, he whispered. He started crying. I drove him home and told him I needed space. I didn't go inside. And that was when everything started to fall apart. The drive was silent except for his quiet crying. When we pulled up to his building, he sat there for a moment, not moving. I love you, he said finally. I know you might not believe that right now, but I do. I didn't respond. He got out of the car and walked inside. I watched until he disappeared through the door. The next few days were brutal. I couldn't stop thinking about it. The revelation, the photo, the woman showing up in my parents' living room like she owned the place, the way my fiancé had hidden everything so carefully. Sleep came in fragments, interrupted by dreams of that moment, the look on his face when he saw her, the sound of his voice cracking when he admitted the truth. Work was impossible to focus on. I went through the motions, attended meetings, answered emails, but nothing stuck. He texted constantly, apologizing, explaining, begging for a chance to talk. Each message was some version of the same thing. I'm sorry, please let me explain. I love you, please don't give up on us. I mostly ignored them. A few times I started typing a response, then deleted it. Every message felt like another weight pressing down on my chest. My family reached out too. My mom called to make sure I was okay, her voice full of concern. My sister texted, offering to come over with ice cream and terrible movies. My dad sent a short message. Take your time, no rush, we love you. Their support meant everything, but I still couldn't bring myself to talk about it. A week after the dinner, my fiancé showed up at my apartment. I almost didn't let him in. Stood at the door for a full minute, hand on the knob, debating. But we couldn't avoid it forever. I opened the door. I hired a lawyer, he said immediately. For what? For her, the woman from the party. She's been contacting me, demanding money, threatening to expose more of my past if I don't pay. I felt my stomach tighten. Extortion. Yeah, my lawyer thinks we can get a restraining order, maybe press charges. That's probably smart. He nodded, then held out a thick folder. I also wanted to give you this. I took it without opening it. Everything, he said quietly. My past, who I was, what I did, why I left, all of it. No more secrets. I set the folder on the coffee table. I need time, I said. Time to think about whether I can move forward knowing you kept this from me. I understand, he said. And for the first time, it sounded like he actually did. He left a few minutes later. I didn't open the folder that night. I just sat there in the quiet, staring at it, knowing that whatever was inside would change things even more. And that no matter what I found, my life wasn't going back to the way it was before that dinner. Not ever again. I opened the folder the next morning. Spent hours going through everything. Bank statements showing the deposits and withdrawals around the time he disappeared. Text messages he'd saved, showing the woman becoming increasingly controlling and threatening. Police reports he'd filed but never followed through on. Documents confirming his legal name change. Photos of his apartment after she'd broken in. Each page revealed another layer, another piece of the person I thought I knew. It wasn't a clean story. It wasn't simple, but it was consistent. He'd been in a bad situation, made choices he wasn't proud of to survive, and when things turned dangerous, he ran. The messages were the worst. Her tone shifted over time, from transactional to possessive to angry to outright threatening. Reading them made my skin crawl. By the time I closed the folder, my head was pounding. My emotions were all over the place. Anger, betrayal, sympathy, sadness, all of it tangled together. 2 weeks after the party, I finally made a decision. I called him and asked to meet for coffee. We sat across from each other in a quiet cafe. Both of us looked exhausted. He'd lost weight, dark circles under his eyes. I probably looked the same. "I believe you," I said. He looked up sharply. "About what happened," I continued. "About why you left, about her being dangerous." Hope flickered in his eyes. "But I can't marry you," I said. "Not right now, maybe not ever." The hope died instantly. "Why?" he asked, his voice barely audible. "Because you lied to me," I said. "Not about your past itself, that I could work through, but about hiding it, about deciding for me what I could and couldn't handle." "I was trying to protect us." "You were trying to protect yourself," I said gently, "and I understand that. But it came at the cost of our trust." He nodded slowly, tears in his eyes. "Trust is everything," I said. "Without it, we have nothing." "So, that's it?" he asked. "I think so." He didn't argue, didn't beg, just nodded. "Thank you for hearing me out," he said, "for believing me." We finished our coffee in silence, said goodbye in the parking lot. I watched him walk away, then sat in my car for a long time before I could bring myself to start the engine. 3 months later, I heard through my uncle that the woman had been charged with extortion and harassment. Apparently, she'd done this before. 2 other men came forward. My ex-fiancé had gotten a restraining order. He helped build a case against her. As for us, we never spoke again. I heard he moved to a different city, started over, again. From what little I saw online, he was working at a new design firm. Seemed to be doing okay. I hope he is. I'm doing okay too. Not dating yet. Not ready. Still processing everything. Taking it one day at a time. Some days are harder than others. Some days I wonder if I made the right choice. But most days, I feel at peace. The whole thing taught me something important. Everyone has a past, some darker than others. That's not the problem. The problem is hiding it. Deciding someone can't handle your truth. Trust isn't about perfection. It's about honesty. And without that, you've got nothing. Absolutely nothing.